There's Rowse here from the Sustainability Education Academy, and it's really great to be interviewing Reinhold Wieland. He's had a long and successful career in energy efficiency, automation, and electrical contracting, both in Australia and in the UK. Now, these are really key areas related to sustainability, and energy efficiency has been labelled by the International Energy Agency as the first fuel. So Rowland's worked both in project delivery, business development, management roles, and you've got an electromechanical trade certification, I understand, Reinhold. And I'm really happy that we had a bit of correspondence late last year, and I'm really happy that I jumped at the opportunity to interview you, basically, given that you've got real expertise in energy efficiency as the first fuel. Can you explain why energy efficiency is the first fuel and why this is so important, both from the perspective of sustainability and economics and finance?
Yeah, thanks, both. Sure, yeah, energy efficiency, or first fuel, you call it. It's probably investment-wise. There's no investment in the world which is better than that. I mean, legal investments, because it's just a return of investment or all the different metrics. It's far the best thing. People don't realize that. You can have returns. What do you call it, payback? But it's certainly the area which I found is the most rewarding, sort of without much cost input.
So, if you reflect back on your experience, your career, what skills or attributes do you think that are most crucial for long-term success in people working in energy efficiency, and perhaps more broadly in sustainability?
It depends a lot what area you're working in or what area you're going in, all that sort of areas. I look at more on the business development side. And I think for me, obviously it's engineering skills. It's complete. You gotta know what you're talking about. And finance skills equally important, because if you can't sell this holding there, really, it's got to make sense to business what they're buying, and that finance skills are absolutely important. But there's also, of course, as data analysis, you got to know how to get the data, and how do you read it, and what do you do with it, and again, to make it visible to people so they understand it. And there's an enormous amount of data available, or it's not available. A lot of times it's sitting down in the plant room, and no one looks at it, and that's the end of that. Or its meters not connected at all. It's like a railway stations with no trains. It's it's a funny thing. And you got to know about business, especially about industries, what drives, what is the important things for them, the key points for them, what they want to save, and then know about technologies. Obviously, there's lots of different things out there which you need to do research and also work out what's snake oil and what's not, whatever, because a lot of it is around as well. And report writing, it's a skill again from years and years of doing audits, and even in the electrical things. Sort of, you got to write reports and have it clear, and take pictures, come back. You got to know all the technologies, know what you need. Obviously, now you got digital pictures. You got to know how to come back quickly with something, and networking, there, all that sort of areas. There's a lot of skills there. You have to be all the time looking out for new skills, and keep yourself always learning what's around, and be open about it. Join different groups and things where you can learn from them, and what's new out there, and is it good, or all that sort of things.
Looking back, how have you maintained your technical knowledge or your technical relevance? Because technology has evolved pretty well. It evolves at the time. Sometimes it seems slow, but looking back, it seems quite quick.
A lot of it I was just, because if you're interested, it makes it easy. So I was always interested in lots of technologies, and always then looked at it, studied it, or researched it, even without internet these days before. And that made me, a lot of it I learned myself. But then I had every opportunity I took to take courses when I could, sort of in certain things, because there's always things like short courses where you can just like sit for half a day or something or a few hours and then hear from other colleagues as well what's going on. And then of course later on it was with LinkedIn. I've been a long time with LinkedIn. And I realized the power of it. Of course, M&V is very, if you want to be credible in the whole thing, you have to do M&V properly with, like I did a course with you there, so in Australia. And
Yeah.
I realized even with selling energy services, always in the UK, I always had basically measurement verification was one of the parts they had to take with it. Otherwise, it wasn't, it wouldn't be credible really.
Was there something about how you engaged with them that made them trust you and believe in you? Like, like, can you kind of pinpoint something? What was it about you, Reinhold, that made them trust you?
I'm very passionate about it, really. I think it's
Yeah,
probably one of the key things. Um, because yeah, right, I already believed in a technology or a way of doing it. And I think that helped really. That helped a lot, I think.
yeah,
Um, because a lot of the jobs I had, I created my own job really, rather than a job advertised. It was a lot of times I said we can do this, we can do that. There's all these opportunities, and then talking passionately about it. Suddenly they realized whatever. Okay, oh, we need that. We didn't know we need this, but we actually need that. So, which was a big difference, I think.
have there been any values or principles that have guided you and how they've shaped your decisions or approach to work?
Well, again, you got to be true to yourself, whatever. You have to be telling the truth. What are you doing? But I always said you got to live outside the box. Whatever I do, what I want to do, really, and that helped a lot, really, in a way. Well, that helped basically. That helped me a lot in getting jobs as well, really, because I think I stood out from other people in a way. What I was doing and always pioneering things and then being first and actually was ahead of a lot of times I was ahead of young engineers because I knew a lot more what they would know. They come out of uni and they're very brilliant guys, whatever, but they don't know, they have no idea what's going on yet and thing. And I had a lot of skill sets, obviously, which I could use.
Yeah,
Um, So yeah, it's really it's not being afraid of sticking out your head and thinking outside the box and putting ideas forward, even if the whole room is against you.
yeah.
That's probably the hardest thing when you're in a whole room and people try to shut you down and you still do it.
What's your advice to other people who might be quite ambitious, but they see a limited opportunity to grow their careers?
Obviously, one thing is if it gets just if you can't move on in a company, then probably start your own business. I mean, that's one way of doing it. Then you're unlimited really, except for cash and whatever and all this sort of things. But that's one way. Just think of what would be the
How do you reflect on the legacy or impact of your career, and what gives you the greatest sense of satisfaction about your career?
um, well, I think it did when I was a young guy, whatever. I thought I need to find. I like traveling and all that. I need to find someone who pays for that. And I think I achieved that a lot with that particular with energy management because you get around the heck a lot. You see lots of places. It's never boring. I think that it was a job I really loved, whatever, and I still love it, whatever, in a way. So it's that's probably the best satisfaction, I think, really. That yeah, was never boring. Doing like detective work, you do lots of interesting stuff, and you're helping people to achieve it. Not always, of course, but because they don't go for it, but it doesn't matter. You know, it could have worked, or if it didn't even. Um, yeah, and I think sure I work with great people there, and I'm sure it rubbed off for some people. And when I look at some of the LinkedIn profiles of some of the colleagues, they actually did really well.